First of all, the cases that you mentioned, all precious lives, all people that Jesus Christ died for, all people that we should care about, no question about that. Let's say there were 12 million encounters of people with dogs, and in 12 cases, the dog bit someone. Would we say we need to get rid of dogs? Would we say that there's a real problem here with dogs and people? We probably would. That doesn't mean that the 12 people who got bitten, that it wasn't a terrible situation. And we should be trying to find other solutions. And I think that's the same thing we should be doing here with this situation. We should be looking for other solutions. Are there non-lethal methods that could be employed by the police? There's been a lot of technological advancements in the last several years, and I don't see many of these things being employed, things that could disable people without killing them instantly. And maybe we should be talking about that along with talking about what Armstrong was saying. Let's teach to a lot of our young men who grow up in situations where they don't learn the proper way to respond to authority. If we begin to teach them, because in situations where those unfortunate incidents occur, it's usually not people who are cooperative, people who, comply with what the police ask them to do. I'm not aware of cases where that occurs.
And Dr. Carson, respectfully, I know that the police kill on average about 1,200 people a year. Disproportionate number of those people are minorities when you look at the demographics of America. And I know that the percentage basis, white people who are unarmed are brutalized less than black people who are unarmed by the police. I say that to say this. We're not saying all police are bad, but we have to acknowledge the implicit bias in policing. We have to acknowledge the implicit bias in the entire criminal justice system, because there is no way that these statistics would be what they are unless you have to conclude one or two things. Especially when you think about the criminal justice system and you see that black men make up only about 7% of the population in America. But yet, in many instances, in many states, we make up almost 40 to 50% of the people who are incarcerated and imprisoned. You have to say, well, either black men are some terrible, evil, criminal-minded, thuggish people, one, or two, the system is inherently discriminatory and it targets black men for the become felons, convicted felons. And so we have to believe in our heart that black men are no different than white men or Hispanic men or Asian men or anything like that. It is just that we have a discriminatory criminal justice system that targets them. It gets even worse when you think about the people who are on death row and what they're on death row for. If you can't see the bias in that, then you're willfully looking the other way. When you think about the fact that the easiest way to get on death row in America is to be a person of color and to kill a white person. And, when it's reversed, when a white person kills a person of color, there's no guarantee that they're going to be put on death row. There's no guarantee they're going to even be put in prison. There's no guarantee they're even going to be arrested with these laws like Stand Your Ground, where they say, I felt threatened, I felt fear, and then they get to go home and sleep in their bed at night. The statistics bear if a black person kills a white person, even if it's in self-defense, when you look at the objective visual evidence, they're going to be arrested and they're going to have hell to pay to try to make a self-defense argument, because the statistics say that they can say stand your ground, they can say self-defense, they can say whatever. They're going to be severely punished by a court of law for killing a white person. And so we want to say that black lives matter just like white lives matter. All lives matter. And we have to look at the hard data and have very difficult conversations that America don't often want to have, but we have to have them because these are our children being killed.